January 19th, 2026. Belfast, Northern Ireland. A 47-year-old AJ Styles stands in the center of a wrestling ring, facing an impossible choice. Gunther, the man who just retired John Cena, has demanded that AJ Styles put his career on the line. One match, Royal Rumble. If Styles loses, he retires. Styles doesn't answer immediately. He talks to his wife first.
AJ, talk to the missus. Sure did.
25 years ago, in 2001, Alan Neil Jones was offered a developmental contract by the WWF. He was 24 years old, hungry, and had just hit a shooting star press that left the entire locker room stunned. This was it. The dream. The moment every independent wrestler lives for. He said no. He said no because his wife Wendy was still in college and he wouldn't leave her behind. He chose his family over his career, and for the next 15 years, people in the wrestling industry used that decision as proof that he didn't want it bad enough, that he wasn't willing to make the sacrifices required to be truly great. But here we are, a quarter century later, and the same man is standing in the same position, facing the same choice, and he still needs to talk to his wife first. Wendy's response?
She said exactly what I was thinking. Kick his ass.
When people picture the greatest wrestler of all time, they imagine someone willing to burn everything to reach the top. A man who radiates charisma with every word, a body carved like a Greek statue. Someone built to dominate rooms and tower over opponents. They don't picture a family man. They don't picture a thick Southern accent. They don't picture someone considered too small to intimidate, too short to stand among giants.
I'm not the tallest guy. I have a Southern accent. There's several things that he could hate about AJ Styles.
But here's what I've realized watching AJ Styles for the last 2 decades. Greatness isn't about wanting it more than everyone else. It's about defiance, about becoming something real while everyone points out what you lack. This is the story of the most complete professional wrestler of the 21st century, and how close the world came to never seeing him. Let's start with something objective, something you can't argue with: the numbers. AJ Styles has held 37 championships across 8 different promotions. He is a Grand Slam champion in both TNA and WWE, the only man to achieve that. He has main evented WrestleMania. His 371-day WWE Championship reign is one of the longest in the title's history. He has been ranked number 1 in the PWI 500. Dave Meltzer has awarded him more 5-star matches than anyone currently active in North American wrestling. John Cena, arguably the biggest star WWE has ever produced, said this about him.
AJ Styles.
Best to ever do it.
You think he's the best to ever do it?
He makes difficult look easy. And that is not God-given talent. That is practice. When you see difficult become seamless, it's because it's been done 10,000 times. And the amount of shit he can do seamlessly, man, he's best to ever do it.
Ric Flair called him the closest guy to Shawn Michaels in our business right now.
AJ, I'll tell you this, for my money right now, AJ is as good as Shawn Michaels. They both prove you don't have to be the biggest, but they can wrestle anybody big.
The Undertaker chose him, out of every wrestler on the planet, to be his final opponent.
I'm training to have this final farewell match with who I consider probably the best in the business right now. Closest to Shawn Michaels, only guy basically on the roster left that I feel like I can work with and have a match.
These are statements from the guys from the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. People who have seen every generation, every style, every era, and they all agree, AJ Styles is as good as a professional wrestler can get.
AJ, man, he is without a doubt the most gifted wrestler I've ever been in the ring with.
But here's what's easy to forget when you watch AJ Styles wrestle in 2026. This was never supposed to happen. When AJ Styles finally made his WWE debut at the Royal Rumble in 2016, he was 38 years old. An age when most wrestlers are thinking about retirement. There were people backstage who genuinely believed he was just a good hand. Someone who would put younger talent over for a few years before quietly fading away. Vince McMahon told him,
As I came back, he's like, I got 1,000 guys who can do what you do.
AJ Styles looked him in the eye and said, "Then why did you sign me?" That's the story, isn't it? The refusal to accept what someone else decided you should be. But to understand how AJ Styles got to that moment, we need to go back. Not to 2016, further, to a night in 2005. when everything changed. September 11th, 2005, Orlando, Florida. TNA Unbreakable. AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Samoa Joe in a triple threat match for the X Division Championship. And you need to understand something. This match functioned as a declaration. For years, TNA had been dismissed as WWE Light, a place where former WWE names went to collect paychecks. But this 25-minute surgical dismantling of expectations proved that somewhere in Orlando, 3 men were producing work WWE could not replicate. Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars, the first in TNA history. If you've never seen it, here's what matters. It's violent, not in a hardcore, weapons-heavy sense, but in the way a ballet becomes violent when performed at the absolute edge of human capability. The pace never slows. There's no fat, no filler, no moment that isn't building towards something inevitable. 3 men moving with such shared understanding that the match feels like a high-wire act without a net. At the end, Styles won. He raised the title high with a bloody nose, and everyone watching understood they had witnessed something that would never be repeated. That match explains why we're here. That night marked the moment AJ Styles stepped onto a path toward immortality. Fast forward to April 6th, 2014. Invasion Attack, Tokyo, Japan. Styles debuts for New Japan Pro Wrestling by attacking Kazuchika Okada, revealing himself as the new leader of
Bullet Club for life.
The crowd is stunned. This violates the unspoken rules of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Foreigners don't arrive and take control. They earn respect through years of attrition. Then Styles does something even more shocking. He defeats Okada in his first match and wins the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, the most prestigious title in Japan, on his debut. And somehow, it works. For 2 years, AJ Styles becomes the most compelling heel in wrestling, the most dangerous Gaijin invader New Japan Pro Wrestling had ever seen. Bullet Club grows into the engine of the company's global expansion. At various points, every major title in New Japan Pro Wrestling rests within the faction. The crown jewel arrives on January 4th, 2016. Wrestle Kingdom 10. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. 2 men who respect each other too deeply to pull their strikes, battering each other in front of 25,000 people. The storytelling is precise. Nakamura targets the ribs. Styles answers with speed. The closing sequence lands with such perfect timing that the outcome feels preordained. Styles loses, but the loss doesn't diminish what happened inside the ring. 3 weeks later, AJ Styles debuts in WWE. I watched the 2016 Royal Rumble on a terrible stream that buffered every few seconds. When Roman Reigns' music hit at number 1, I remember thinking, alright, who's getting fed to Roman tonight? Then the countdown for entrant number 3 began. Then this happened.
Can it be? It is!
The building exploded. 15,000 people losing their minds because the wrestler they'd followed for years through shaky streams and IPPVs had just crossed into the biggest company in the world. Styles lasted 28 minutes. The crowd never stopped chanting his name. When he was eliminated, the energy vanished. Everyone knew the real story had just walked out of the ring. Within 8 months, AJ Styles was WWE Champion. Within 2 years, he held the title for 371 consecutive days, tied for the 8th longest reign in history. Smackdown Live became the house that AJ Styles built. The match that cemented his legacy came at Money in the Bank 2016, AJ Styles versus John Cena. The violence here is structural. 2 men dismantling each other's credibility piece by piece. Cena hits the attitude adjustment. Styles kicks out. Styles hits the Styles Clash. Cena kicks out. Counters stack on counters until both men can barely stand. Styles wins. With help from the club, yes, but he wins. Against John Cena, the man defined by inevitability. That's the moment WWE understood the truth. AJ Styles wasn't another main event option, he was the main event. But this is where the story complicates itself, because greatness like this comes with a cost. Let me tell you what AJ Styles' body looks like in 2026. His back is held together by years of chiropractors and painkillers. His knees are bone on bone from decades of landing on concrete and plywood disguised as a wrestling ring. He's had multiple hernia surgeries. There are nights when he can barely walk to his car after a match. Early in his career, AJ Styles was a walking highlight reel. Spiral taps, shooting star presses, Fosbury flops through tables. By 2020, he'd shifted almost entirely to a grounded, technical style because his body physically couldn't handle the aerialism anymore. The calf crusher, his primary submission finisher in WWE, exists because he had two options: adapt or retire. And even that hurts him now. Watch his matches in 2024 and 2025. Really watch them. You can see the winces between moves, the slight hesitation before a phenomenal forearm, the way he rolls out of the ring slower than he used to. But the physical damage is the easy part to notice. The harder truth is this: AJ Styles spent 20 years being told he wasn't good enough. He was told he was too small for WWE in 2001. He was told TNA would never count as a real competitor, so his accomplishments didn't matter. He was told his New Japan Pro Wrestling run was just Japan, as if being IWGP Heavyweight Champion meant less than being a mid-carder in WWE. And when he finally arrived in WWE, he was 38. Most wrestlers are winding down at that age. He supposedly had 5 good years left. Except AJ Styles didn't wind down. He got better. His 371-day title reign produced classic after classic. Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Daniel Bryan, Rusev. Every defense carried the same unspoken demand: prove you belong here. And every time, Styles answered it. But here's the part that stays with me. He was still fighting that fight. In 2024, at 47 years old, AJ Styles staged a fake retirement on Smackdown to manipulate Cody Rhodes into giving him one more title shot. The promo was flawless: the quivering voice, the tears, the thank you for the memories, goodbye. Then he attacked Cody with the crowd booed him out of the building. But it worked. He got his match. AJ had 2 matches with Cody Rhodes. First at Backlash, then again at Clash at the Castle, following the fake retirement. Both were technical masterclasses, the kind of matches that stabilized Cody's title reign and gave it credibility. Because that's what AJ Styles has become in his final years. The man who makes you look like $1 million, even as his own body breaks down. And still, it isn't enough. Because for every legendary moment in AJ Styles' career, there's always been one lingering stain. WrestleMania 34, April 2018. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. 2 years earlier, at Wrestle Kingdom 10, they created something special in Tokyo. A brutal, elegant match that felt like 2 masters speaking the same language. The WrestleMania rematch was meant to be the definitive version. Instead, it was fine. Not a failure, just nowhere near the standard they had set for themselves. That match hung over both of them for 8 years. Then, last week, Saturday night's main event, January 2026. 28 years after AJ Styles made his wrestling debut. 8 years after that WrestleMania disappointment. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura stepped into a ring one more time. And they delivered the best match of Nakamura's entire WWE career. At 48 years old, with a body held together by spite and ibuprofen, AJ Styles proved he could still do it, that he could still reach that level, that he could take the one blemish on his legacy and erase it. In December 2025, John Cena retired. 2 months earlier, at Crown Jewel, Cena faced AJ Styles one last time. The match played like a greatest hits album. Every counter, every callback, every moment designed to remind you why these two mattered. And in his tribute to AJ before his own retirement, Cena said something I can't stop thinking about. AJ Styles is the best to ever do it. He makes difficult look easy. When difficult becomes seamless, it's because it's been done 10,000 times. 10,000 times. 10,000 matches where AJ Styles had to be perfect because anything less would confirm someone's doubts. 10,000 nights where his body begged him to stop, and he went out and hit a phenomenal forearm anyway. 10,000 moments where he proved, again and again, that greatness isn't about being chosen. It's about refusing to accept rejection. So we come back to January 19th, 2026. AJ Styles standing in that ring, having just slapped Gunther across the face. The challenge is made. Royal Rumble. Career on the line. And I think about the 2001 decision a lot. The choice to stay home, to support Wendy through college, to prioritize his family over a WWF developmental contract. For 15 years, people used that decision as evidence that AJ Styles didn't have it, that killer instinct, that willingness to sacrifice everything for the business. But what if that decision is exactly why AJ Styles became phenomenal? Wrestling is full of men who gave up everything. their families, their health, their sanity. They sacrificed it all on the altar of making it, and most of them ended up broken and forgotten. AJ Styles is 48 years old. He has 4 kids. He's been married to the same woman for 24 years, and he could walk into any ring tonight and deliver a 5-star classic with a broomstick. Maybe the secret wasn't sacrificing everything. Maybe it was knowing what not to sacrifice.
So,
the match is set. Royal Rumble 2026. Career versus pride. He'll probably lose. That's how these stories usually end. The legend puts over the next generation on the way out. But whether he wins or loses doesn't really matter. AJ Styles already won the only fight that mattered. The fight to be seen as what he always was. Phenomenal. Thank you for watching. Click on the screen to hear the dark truth of wrestling. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.